Umoja, unity, not a suggestion, an instruction. It is the quiet agreement to belong to one another, even when we disagree, even when the road gets too loud, even when history tries to fracture us into pieces. Umoja says, I am, because we are. It reminds us that no child is raised alone. No dream is carried by one set of hands. No future is built in isolation. Unity is not sameness. It is harmony. Different rhythms, one drum. Different voices, one song. When we practice Umoja, we choose to protect the village, to honor the elders, to pour into the youth, to show up, not halfway, not occasionally, but fully. Umoja asks us to remember that our strength multiplies when we stand together, that healing happens faster in community, that love is a collective act. Tonight, we light this principle as a promise, to stay connected, to stay accountable, to stay rooted to one another. Umoja, because none of us are free until all of us are held.
Yes.
Kwanzaa is
Uji Jagalia.
this to express itself as both commitment and practice.
It demands that we as African people develop, defend, and define ourselves instead of allowing or encouraging others to do this.
It requires that we recover lost memory and once again shape our world in our own image and interest.
And it is a call to recover and speak our own special cultural truth to the world and make our own unique contribution to the forward flow of human history.
The third principle is Ujima, collective work and responsibility, which is a commitment to active and informed togetherness on matters of common interest. It is also recognition and respect for the fact that without collective work and struggle, progress is impossible and liberation unthinkable. Ujima also supports the fundamental assumption that Africa is not just an identity, but a destiny, duty, or responsibility. In other words, our collective identity in the long run is a collective future. Thus, there is a need and obligation for self-conscious and committed people to shape our future with our minds and heads and share its hardships and benefits together. Ujima also means that we accept the fact that we are collectively responsible for our failures and setbacks, as well as our victories and achievement. Such a commitment implies and encourages a vigorous capacity of self-criticism and self-correction, which is indispensable to our strength, defense, and development as a people.
Gotta say, what's the news? Baragani! The fourth principle is Ujima, cooperative economics, and is essentially a commitment to the practice of shared social wealth and the work necessary to achieve it. Ujima literally means familyhood, and suggests the sharing of work and wealth in a manner of a family. It grows off the fundamental communal concept that social wealth belongs to the masses of the people who created it.
And that no one should have such an unequal amount of wealth that it gives him or her the capacity to impose unequal, exploitive, or oppressive relations on others. Sharing wealth is another form of communitary exchange. For example, sharing and cooperating in general. But it is essential because without the principle and practice of shared wealth, the social conditions for exploitation, oppression, and inequality, as well as deprivation and suffering, are increased.
Nia, purpose. The reason your feet touch the ground each morning. Nia asking a simple question, a heavy question. Why are you here? Not just for yourself, but for the people who come before you and the people who are still finding their way. Purpose is remembering your gifts are not by accident. Your hands carry memory. Your voice carries instructions. Your work carries responsibility. Nia calls us to build what was interrupted, to restore what was broken, to leave the village stronger than we found it. It is the courage to live behind ego, to move with intentions, to let service guide ambitions. When we walk in Nia, our heart heals, our labor teaches, our present matters. Tonight, we like this principle as a vow to align our actions with our values, to serve with humility, to live on purpose for the children, for the ancestors, for the future ones watching us now. Nia, because life with a purpose and a legacy.
The sixth principle is Kumba, creativity, and it logically follows from and is required by the principle of Nia. It is a commitment to being creative within the context of the national community vocation of restoring our people to their traditional greatness, and thus leaving our communities more beneficial and beautiful than we. For example, each generation has inherited. The principle has both a social and a spiritual dimension and is deeply rooted in the sacred and social teachings of African societies.
The seventh principle is Imani, faith, which is essentially a profound and enduring belief in and commitment to all that is of value to us as a family, people, community, and culture. Unity is before the first principle, as faith is before the fourth as the last principle for a definite reason. It is to indicate that without unity, we cannot begin our most important work, but without faith, we cannot sustain it. Unity strengthens us and brings out our work together, but faith in each other and the good and the right, the beautiful, helps us bring our most beautiful work to its end.